Although, if
you raise them one way and they go another.
There's my new machine. Oh my God.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah. Well, I've got it open because I'm lubing it up. We're having a night tonight. And
this podcast just became super rated R. It's been one night, Elaine. All right, good evening. Welcome to Pixels After Dark. This is Tyler, TC Illustrates. Tonight, we're doing a little bit different episode. It's going to be a little bit of a kind of round-robin, free-for-all questions on a pretty popular topic, taking your art from a hobby to a business. Tonight, Ruby could not make it, so instead we are joined by the lovely NerdandNeedle Elaine.
Hey. Now she's shy.
She's like, oh God.
Thank you so much for coming on with us. It's always so much fun having you on.
Pleasure to be here.
We also have the other male co-host / partner in crime, Average Joe.
Hey. I made it. You did such a phenomenal job. The last episode, Tyler. I was so proud of you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. And last but not least, our guest of the night, Young Con.
They brought me back.
We did.
Were made.
Yeah. And that bribe, I mean, that helped too. No, I'm kidding.
I think Young Con's like, I had to say yes, but I didn't really want to come back.
That last fiasco. People got hurt.
Feelings got hurt. That's what happened.
Did you tell it to him straight? Like, did you scare him straight?
I didn't even do
the last time Joe brought out the trident and we knew it was going south from there. It was all over, yeah.
I was just reenacting Aquaman, man. You brought it there, not me.
Okay.
I love
Ruby
you,
had a grenade, so
there Jason Momoa.
It's my man.
I mean, I don't. Most guys aren't Jason Momoa. Let's be honest.
I don't know. Con's kind of rivaling over there.
Yeah.
I mean, in my younger days, when I had more time on my hands.
Con's like, I'm just a wholesome person now.
I'm less Titan and more like lazy demigod now.
Downgraded from Titan to Hercules. Okay,
that's what happens when you start drawing. You gotta cut out some of the stuff you
do. That's funny. Well, tonight, like I said, is a little bit of a different episode. We've been receiving some questions about how to take your art to another level, from a hobby to a actual profession. And I think a lot of aspiring artists are pretty interested in this because it's not as easy as people think it is. So fortunately, we have Young Con here, who has now built a life around turning his hobby into a profession. So we're going to kind of grill him with some questions. And as we're going on, if anyone in chat has any questions that you want to know, go ahead and just type them out and we'll try and get to them. So Young Con, why don't you tell us a little about yourself for people that may have not caught your first episode?
Okay. I am a full-time designer, graphic designer, full-time illustrator, animator, and kind of a branding specialist. I didn't need a design specialist. I just turned 37 in October. So I've been doing this under 3 years. But I've been doing this I've been actually doing art for under 3 years. But I've been running the business for about 2.5 years. So I've moved from part-time to, as a hobby, to full-time in the space of about 6 to 8 months. Yeah,
it's fast.
it went really fast, but it doesn't feel like it. I don't know. It feels like things are moving way faster than they should for anybody, but it's more or less an obsession of improvement. And once you like get the taste of like of reaching your goals, you just want to like strive harder to keep reaching those goals faster and faster and faster.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I was introduced to the back to art from the Destiny community, which you guys all know or don't know. Brought on by Cobb One, his Instagram. I didn't even watch Twitch at the time, but I saw some Cobb One's art on Instagram for Destiny. I was like, I want to do art like that. I haven't done art in like a decade. So after a decade hiatus, I'm not drawing anything. I got into digital art the hardest way possible. I got a refurbished laptop and I learned how to draw using the trackpad on the laptop, so not even a mouse. So I drew everything with the pen tool in Photoshop, which is a very tedious exercise, but it definitely builds some self-control and determination muscles you never thought you ever had.
And carpal tunnel. No.
And carpal tunnel. Not yet. But from there, I've just been kind of just expanding my skill set, learning new things every day, never getting comfortable with the stuff I do, even though I produce an astronomical amount of work every month. I'm always happy with what I like produce, but I'm never happy with the things I do. I always want to do more stuff. Like I'm never happy just doing just emotes or just doing, portraits or profile pictures or logos. I want to do it all. If not, do it all professionally, I want to try it all. So now I moved into doing pinups and more anatomy work. So it's been fun.
I've been enjoying those because it's something different that you're constantly growing and, like you just said, and it's something I've never seen you really do before. So it's really interesting seeing these develop. And I actually, you did, the Drifter one was something, but you did Amanda Holiday and just how you were explaining like how you wanted to put more work into it because you wanted to work on her prosthetic, which not very many people in the game know that, or notice she has a prosthetic. That's something that like, I want to see that. I actually want to see more like, I would love to see like Bomber style, but they incorporate with like Destiny, like, I don't know, like a Cabal Red War, Red Legion, like Bomber style. Like, I don't even know what a bomb would look like in the game, but I'm really just sidetracking right now.
No,
Bomber style.
That's how my brain works. Like everything just cascades from one idea to another. That's why when I say I'm gonna do something, within 24 hours I end up doing it, because if I don't, I'll lose it forever.
Yeah.
So I always strike while the iron's hot. I mean, like today, I'll give you the best example today. DMG put out a tweet. I like to see Katie 5530 receive Christmas gifts. I got an hour to kill. So I rendered up this, Katie 5530 really quick. She's the postmaster in Destiny 2. Rendered it up, painted it, tried a new rendering style because I've been working up those pinups and put it out within an hour and a half, and then Bungie retweeted it. I'm like, that's something that happened, and now I'm working on my name.
And now you have the emblem.
Oh, now I have the emblem. I should have had it a while ago though, but I guess they got lost with the last collab we did.
Yeah. We need to get another one of those going.
Yeah, we do.
Those were fun.
If it was not for the Destiny community, I would have not grown. I wouldn't have grown so fast.
Same.
But that's my story. Coffee, Destiny, an insatiable hunger to conquer everything around me, and I think that's it.
Sips from branded cup.
I was about to say that that sums up your name pretty well. Insatiable conquering drive. I like it. That'll be your next t-shirt.
Already got it. I'm already working on my next t-shirt for the store. Actually,
that's exciting.
It's very simple. I'm moving some type. I'm doing typography work now too. I'm making my own typesets.
That I'm really excited about because I've taken a little crack at that just in
it's fun.
Random spare time, and it is extremely fun. So you're a lot better at the vector and the clean lines and stuff. So I'm excited to see how your stuff comes out.
Yeah, that's like the same thing with the vector stuff. It's like I want to do more vector stuff, and now we're here.
I know. If Ruby was here, she'd probably be like geeking out over the vector stuff. She loves that.
I love the GIFs you've been making.
Oh yeah,
the knockdown GIFs. Oh my God, you made this the Saint 14 one like blew me away because I'm a big fanatic for Saint 14. But now you made like the Postmaster one. You made your own personal one, and it's just running, just boom, knocking stuff. I love it.
Oh yeah, I drew the Postmaster's head in like 20 minutes and colored it and slapped it into the animation. It took like 2 seconds.
I think that's what's been fun too, is you have been changing it. It's the same animation. It's just different characters every time.
I mean, I was like, I put up the tweet about the Katie. I was like, let me just render a head real quick and just slap it on the bottom. Like drinking coffee, like I'm reading emails and I looked over, I'm like, slapped it on, hit play. Looks good to me. That is one key to being a successful successful business person or running a business is having an idea and acting on it. Mm-hmm. Always act on it.
Not becoming stagnant.
Yeah, stagnation is death. Stagnation and being complacent and being comfortable with the work you do. If you get too comfortable with the work you do, you don't grow at all. You don't, you have the same audience. I had to reach out to every audience, and because I got things I still want to do and learn how to do, I got to keep pressing those boundaries and get myself uncomfortable. Like doing figures is uncomfortable. Painting is uncomfortable. Vectoring was very uncomfortable, but that goes away with time.
Yeah. Well, sweet. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, the first thing we kind of wanted to talk about tonight is how you kind of made that leap from doing art as a hobby to, no, I want something more than just a hobby. I want to make this a business. What kind of clicked in your mind that you wanted to take art further?
When I planned out to, make a few dollars, I wanted to make like an extra couple $100 a month for groceries. Like I can do that. I can do like a couple weekends, make some stuff, put it out. And this was just me still drawing emotes in Photoshop with my trackpad on my refurbished laptop. So the emote took, 2.5 hours or so to like draw like the frame and edit it and stuff like that. And that might be the regular amount of time for people to make an emote with a pen. And that's kind of how I press the boundaries, I guess, so fast to make emotes in like 30 minutes or so. But I want to make a couple $100 a month. I was just doing the art just because I want to make Destiny fan art. I was like, oh yeah, I make Destiny fan art. And then my buddy was like, hey, can you do my profile picture? I was like, yeah, sure. My clan leader for the Loot clan, N64 Josh. Him and Destinot had a podcast called Lootcast. So I did their avatars. And then like Destiny Reset podcast hit me up. It was like, oh yeah, can you do ours too? I'm like, yeah. And those things like took 2 weeks a piece. Like they took like almost a month to do. Stuff like I can whip up in like 45 minutes a piece now. It took like a little bit.
Wait, you did N64 Josh, the one where he's got the Nintendo gun in his hand?
Oh yeah, that's the second one I did for him. Yeah.
I didn't know you did that one.
I was about to say I didn't know he did Destiny Reset either.
It was Arrow with the No Land Beyond over his shoulder and Cyborg with the, I think he had the Iron Banner armor on.
And he still remembers for the most part.
Yeah, I've done like probably 5,000 pieces of art in the past 2.5 years.
He remembers everyone.
Mm-hmm.
It does.
Kills.
I do. It's good for the brain. It's good for the brain.
Slowing down them Alzheimer's.
Yeah. It did. I mean, literally, if somebody's like, "Oh, you made this emote like 3 years ago," I'm like, "Yeah, I remember that one." I'm not sure why I remember it or how I remember it, but I do. So all said and done, I moved on for that. My buddy's like, "Can you make emotes?" I'm like, "Yeah, I can make emotes." I didn't watch Twitch. I didn't watch Twitch. I had no idea what it was. So like, okay, I guess I can make them. I looked up the process, looked up the size, made my first emote, sent them out, and like, oh yeah, I've started like $15 an emote or $10 an emote, and I made like $40. I was like, I got $40, yo. I can go and get some minor groceries, and that kind of just went on for a few months, and then I was like, oh, how about $15? Oh, how about $20? And it stayed at 20 for about a year, and because I could produce the emotes at such a fast rate, I could do 5 emotes in a night. That's $100.
Mm-hmm.
That's $100. And I started doing that 3-4 days a week. I'm like, that's $400. That's $1,600 a month. I can almost quit this job. And it was at that point, my job knew they messed up.
That's when they realized they undervalued me.
That is awesome.
No, they didn't mess. I really loved that job. I was a bartender. It was a fun job. It was a fun job. I missed those guys a lot. But I didn't need to be there anymore because I was just working at the bar as a bartender and then giving all my tables away. I would go in and open up. I had a key. I was one of the managers. I'd sit up at the bar. Somebody needs a drink. I get behind the bar and make it. But other than that, I'm just like, I'm working my business plan. I'm making a website. I made my website. I made all the portfolio stuff all at the bar at my job because it was Monday and Sunday. It was slow. I could just sit there. I had the luxury. There'd be a little rush for a couple hours. You work the rush, and then right then I make another pot of coffee, break up my laptop, and keep working on my craft. So there's always time in the day, even with a job. There's always time. Then I would leave that job at midnight and get home and work until 4 a.m.
Yeah. I remember you were burning the candle on both ends.
Yeah. And some people would say that was a little bit unhealthy to constantly, work those hours, working that full-time job. But that in itself, that sacrifice of a little bit of sleep, a little bit of free time, but a lot of gaming time went down. Netted me a business that I've never been this financially secure in my entire life. I've never, generated this much income in my entire life. Never been as happy in my entire life doing anything ever. So the leap was when the income matched or went above what I was making in a few days at my regular job. So maybe on a good week, I was making, $500 or $600 a week working 4 or 5 days at the bar. So it's like $100 a day, which is not bad for Ohio because I'm not sure the standard
That
living
would be
in
like
California,
poverty
Washington.
in California, man.
I was paying my mortgage on $2,000 a month and paying up the lights and everything. So, and that's living alone. So yeah, at that point. So you can get away with like $2,800 a month. It's a tight budget. It's a tight living, but you could definitely make it work.
Right.
So once I got out of that frame and I started to move into like actually making more and more things, it the $2,000 was like, why? Here, take my table, take this. I can do things at my laptop and net what I make from this table in 1/10 of the time. So I just kind of just phased myself out. And then came the day where I put my 2 weeks notice in. I was like, you guys probably know that I've got a business. I've been busy and you guys don't need me here anymore. And believe it or not, the day before I put the 2 weeks in, they've let somebody go I was working with. I was like, oh no, this is going to be bad. This is going to be bad.
I'm gonna take these curly fries and go.
Oh, yeah, I feel with that. I can't let that deter me. So the person that was, the owner, offered me a management position when I was leaving. I was like, no, I'm not. I don't want to manage. I want to make art. I don't want to. I love it here. I love you guys, but I don't want to keep doing this. And it probably would have been a substantial amount of money to run the place as a manager, as a general manager. I'm like, no. So I stared down temptation. It was like I moved ahead with my plan. Like I can make this work, and it was the best decision of my entire life. I took a risk. Risks don't always play out that way. Sometimes they can go horribly awry. But
it's true.
With the grind and the amount of time you put in, and listening and watching other people's like triumphs and their mistakes, lend a great deal to my success.
Yeah, it sounds like you had a pretty solid groundwork before you finally made that leap to go full time. It wasn't just a fluke of, I'm going to quit my job and do this.
Yes and no. Yes and no. It was solid in the way that, because you don't know if you're going to have clients next week. That's the one thing about running a business. You're not assured you're going to have, clients in the next 2 months. You think it's an assumption when you start a business. You're like, what if nobody comes? And that anxiety will hit you in the first 2 months. Like, what happens if Twitch breaks, or
yeah,
they close down and go home. And that prompted me to actually expand my services into other realms of design. And that anxiety relieves itself because you move from doing emotes. If I did emotes, I'm like, how far would that take me? I do logos. How far would that take me? So spread myself across many different disciplines has paid off. And some people say you should specialize. I'm like, I don't know. I'm like a jack of all trades. I like to be a jack of all trades. I like to do it all myself to learn. So I have to pay anybody else to do it.
Unless it's plumbing. I don't touch plumbing.
Oh no, I do plumbing. What's electricity?
I don't like electricity.
I don't mess with the fire of the gods.
I've messed with electricity this summer.
Nightmares over that one.
Nope. Yep. I'll tackle other things, but I ain't touching electricity again.
PTSD coming through.
3 shocks in a day. I'm good. I'm good. But Con's not alone with this. I know it's quite a success story. I mean, you are very successful right now, and you're continuing to grow, and you're doing more things, and you're getting out there. But also, one of our co-hosts as well took what was a hobby and made it into her business, as well as Elaine. And Elaine, maybe you want to jump in and answer the same question. I mean, it would be great to hear from you too, because I know you've guested on a few podcasts and stuff like that. And you've talked about it before, but deciding whether or not you wanted to make your hobby your business. Would you like to elaborate more on that as well for your business?
Yeah. So I started doing craft shows about, I want to say 6 years ago, where I was just sewing things. And I thought, it'd be really cool. And it was the moment that I decided I wanted to start a business, but it was only part-time because I was still working at Target full-time, was I'm going to buy an embroidery machine. And then that makes things look better, right? Yeah. So I had no idea what I was doing. I bought the machine. The lady said, there's these classes. I said, no, I have to break things to learn things.
To learn things.
Spoken like a true artist.
I'm glad she didn't become a surgeon.
I didn't. Exactly. So I didn't necessarily break it, but I did learn everything up until the point where it came to digitizing, because that was an area that I knew I could do, but the price range was way far out there than what I could afford at the time. And then about a year, I think it was like a year, maybe 2 years after I started the businesses part-time, I said, not today, Satan, just like Khan did, but to my ex-husband, and I left. He was not supportive. He brought me down. So I kind of went from, I'm working a full-time job at Target and living in this area. And then I said, okay, peace out. And then I moved, and I was fortunate enough to move in a place where I could pay rent to my parents, because it was an old house that they owned, and I just paid rent to them, and I lived off of muffin mix and ramen and the bare minimums for the next year and a half, I think, until something called the Broman podcast happened, and I kind of decided to step up my game. And like, I'd kind of been making it. I just like made the decision I'm going to do this. I'm going to sell stuff. I'm going to, I think that first year that I'd moved out here, oh my gosh, I did about 2 conventions a month. And by the end of that year, I was burnt to a crisp. Yes, I had money in my pocket, but I was so burned. But yeah, so I've gotten to the point where I can travel a little bit. I eat more than muffin mix and and ramen, and yeah, I don't know what else to say. Just I've been trying to do different things and growing the business. I just got the second commercial machine, which I'm trying to figure that out. That's more of a commercial machine is more, if something breaks, you don't take it into a shop, you fix it. So that's a whole nother level of, no, really, I got to break it.
For real.
In order to learn how to do this. But since I have the first machine, I kind of get the gist of what the second one's all about. And the first multi-needle machine, since I brought up the ex-husband, was the day after I signed the divorce papers. That I went immediately to the bank, took out a loan.
That day.
That next day.
Living dangerously. I love it.
Yeah, and bada bing, bada boom. I've got a loan for a car, but it's not for a car. So that's my story. It's weird. It was kind of I jumped in with both feet and was very stubborn about it. I even worked at Target for about 2 weeks. That first year, they took me back, and I was like, I can't. I will go back to trying to make it on my own and eating ramen.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to think about going back.
Yeah, it just felt so draining, Just, oh, yeah. Mm-mm.
Funny story. My job let me have the keys to the place still. I still have the keys to the bar. They
Do you really?
They wouldn't take the keys back.
They're like, no.
Nope,
because I was one of the most trusted employees they had. Like, no, something in case something happens, keep the keys. I was like, I had these keys for 2 years now, or a year, a year and 8 months. I've just still had hold of these keys,
and they're still just hanging by the door.
They're on the keychain in case something happens. I guess I don't know what they could use me for.
Well, you know what? One of these days you're gonna get a knock on your door, and it's gonna be one of the managers going, "Locked ourselves out of the bar."
Right. Can't find my keys this morning.
Everyone called out
a 30-minute drive out of the way. Like, it's a 30-minute drive out to the bar.
Hey, when you make the oops and you lock the keys to the business inside the business, you'll make that 30-minute car ride.
Yeah, you will.
They keep tipping, hey, you want to come out for a Saturday shift? This was like the first 2 months after I left. I'm like, no, I'm busy. Busy.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
It's Saturday. No. I'm elbow deep in video game pictures. I can't.
video game pictures.
That's how you can explain to people. What do you do? I make video game pictures. Like for video games? Yeah, kinda.
That's what,
yes and no. For
when people ask me, there's these two old this old couple that I go to a sewing machine store and I get thread. And like, so what do you do? And I said, I do embroidery for like the video game people and that kind of genre. And they're just, what?
The who?
What? And I show them, it's like all these skulls and Destiny things. Oh, that's nice, honey.
Oh, that's fantastic.
It's so sweet.
You need another roll?
Well, isn't that special?
Bless your heart.
All I can see the church lady in my head when she said that. Could it be Satan?
The Dana Carvey one?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Welcome to the South, honey.
Phil, I told you I'm old. We got to do this podcast. We're going to do our 80s podcast, man. We got to make it happen.
Nice.
I'm going to keep jabbing you until I see you.
It only took 20 minutes to derail. Awesome.
Yeah.
All we need is a graphics for iTunes, and I'll set up the Podbean. We'll get it going.
Oh man.
Get JC Jesse and a couple others.
That face.
Con seems very excited about it.
He's just like,
Oh, we need the graphics. Oh, all right.
Tap, nudge, nudge.
caught that, huh? No, to keep us rolling, we had a question actually come in on the Twitch from Inner Geek Designs, and he asked if you have any annual goals, or do you wing it every year?
Goals? No, I don't have any goals. I don't have any goals in pretending like the income I generate. The only goals I have is to produce as much quality as work as possible. And I mean humanly possible.
You guys got really big on that one.
Yeah,
not godly possible.
In the first year of business, I generated more money than I have working as an educator, as a bartender. You know, by tens of thousands of dollars, and then in year 2, I probably did another 40% on top of that.
Wow, that is awesome.
Yeah, making tiny pictures. Making tiny pictures.
The world needs those tiny pictures.
I feel like that's the explain your job in wrong answers only.
That was one of my stream titles when I first started making the emotes.
Making tiny pictures.
No, big man makes tiny pictures.
I stab fabric all day, so.
I laughed. I mean, so like, I don't, not really goals wise. The main goal, the only goal I have is to not produce anything that looks mediocre. And the things I've made in previously, they're not mediocre to me at the time, but I look back, they look mediocre to me now, which is a good sign. That's the growth is happening. Progress is happening.
See, I like that because it's not setting unrealistic expectations when you're first starting out. You're just doing the best you can for each skill level that you know, every time you level up, you look back and you're like, oh yeah, I used to do that. That's kind of bad now. But at least at the time you weren't like, oh, I should be competing with this designer or this level of work.
No, I don't. I promote other designers. I don't look at design work or any like realm of art I dabble in as a business. I don't look at the people that I work with or my colleagues as competitors or somebody I'm rivaling against. I promote those people.
Yeah.
I promote those people very, very hard. Mainly because if I've dropped your name for something, that means I trust you. And I admire you, and I want to see you grow as far as I can, or farther than I. Like I don't. If you go into like business with selfish intentions, you can make a lot of money. You can do really well, but you're gonna be really lonely too. Like it's not a good way to be. It's not a good way to be. So I like to see people grow the same way people in the Destiny community helped me grow. The artists, I mean, Cobb, Gamma, Ian, all those guys helped me like break through barriers. Clint Felker, they all helped me like break through these ceilings. And they're not even in the design business I'm in, but I work with other designers who do the exact same thing I do. They make emotes, they make, animations, they do graphics, logos, branding kits. I'm like, yeah, I drop their names religiously. Because
I actually dropped someone the other day that was like an instant follow for me. It's like a Poseidon picture.
That would be he is in Estonia.
Mm-hmm.
I remember his I'm drawing a blank on his name right now though. But I sent him a t-shirt. I sent him this t-shirt actually to Estonia because I thought I had the idea for this shirt. Well, the tagline of it. And I think I just read it off of his Twitter bio and it was in my head for months and then I made the shirt. So he's like, hey, he said, hey, that's my saying. I was like, is it? So I was like, do you mean to take the shirt down? I'll destroy the shirt in the design. I'll make it. I was like, no, keep it up. So like, let me do me a favor. Let me send you a shirt. So I sent him a shirt to Estonia. He was a very kind person.
That is awesome.
Name right now.
That is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a misunderstanding. I'm jacking that saying.
I think anyone that knows you knows that's not the case.
Mm-hmm.
Or the one time that Con and I crossed when I did the Crotobuster patch, and everyone thought that I'd copied his Moon Haunted patch, and I mean the Con fans came for me. They're like, "Excuse you, sir, this is Con's." And I messaged you. I was like, "Oh my god, I just need you to know I did not steal this from you."
I mean, really, is that design? That's not even like the idea might have been semi-original, but the Moon's Haunted thing isn't mine.
Yep.
Is it? No, I didn't make that. The Ghostbusters idea is not mine. I didn't make the Ghostbusters. I didn't write. I'm not Ivan Reitman. I didn't produce Ghostbusters.
Mm-hmm.
The Moon's Haunted with the Ghostbusters idea and using Omnigul as because it's the Hive in that context worked. Why shouldn't it work? We're going to the moon is haunted, yo.
It's so haunted.
The moon is haunted.
Who are you going to call? That idea melded together perfectly. Of course it's going to happen
really
again.
Good.
I've had this exact same thing happen. I was drawing an idea, and I wasn't even done with the sketch yet. People saw me this probably a month ago. I'm like, this has somebody done this already? And it was the Mickey Mouse with the arms like Hydra.
Oh yeah.
I was like, somebody's probably done this already.
Oh.
I'm drawing it, and I'm like,
that was wicked.
Let me Google this. And I saw like 3 pictures, and I'm like, they did it,
but not like you.
So I can do it better.
I can do it better.
Oh my god, I've done that too.
Have you really?
The subtle ego stroke.
Yeah, this is cool and all, but I can do this better. This is all right.
That patch looks good, but I can make those lines cleaner.
Actually, that design would look cool as a patch. I don't know if you guys want to do a little collaboration.
I was
throwing it out there.
Shirt.
Don't worry, we might be getting together.
A shirt would be dope as well.
Oh, which one?
The Mickey Hydra.
Mickey Hydra.
Oh, it's a shirt.
Is it?
What?
Yeah. How did I miss it?
Do you know I produced
a Christmas gift?
4 or 5 like t-shirt designs and merch designs a month just for myself, on top of all the other work I put out, like a madman.
There's so many sources.
Well,
I mean, darn.
Oh, it is right there too. Oh, it's the first freaking one.
Me and Joe will get one, and then we'll wear it on the next episode.
Bow your heads, definitely are. All hail the mouse. I freaking love it. I love that St. 14 one too, though. It's going to be a tough. Oh, you know what? I do want to jump into the next one because looking at your site, the shirt is $20. If you're looking, go to Con's Art, his website. You can find it on his Twitter. It's attached right there in the heading. But this is the next question. I just want to jump right into it is, what are your thoughts in processing when you're determining your costs of service?
Cost of service? Now it depends on the, because I don't work by the hour. I do value-based pricing. So all the work I produce is on the value or perceived value, which is extremely important, and the time because of my because of the demand for my services. So in the beginning, when my emotes were, I would say average to below average, I was charging $10 an emote because I thought they looked okay. I didn't think they looked great. And then I would see other people's work. Like you see somebody's other emotes because they've been doing it for like years and years and years. And here I come, Joe Blow out of the, the dusty mountains, haven't been on Twitch, never used Twitch before, making emotes. I'm like, I can $10. I can $10 for 2 hours. This is $5 an hour. This is below minimum wage. I can deal with that. But when you increase the quality, and there's also a price attached to the notoriety of having a piece of art made by somebody. Like say if you get a character designed by a Marvel employee, let's say, a Marvel comic book artist draw a Spider-Man for you. You could have the exact same Spider-Man drawn by an artist. It looks exactly the same. The quality is no different. That guy might charge you $100. The guy who works for Marvel might charge you $5,000. So it's not, he might, do it. It might take more time. It all depends on who you're working with. So determine the price all has to do with finding where you lie at in the market. So the work I produce, like logo wise or branding wise, I was doing logos for $25 or $50 when I started out. Now I'm doing logos for, $500 to, $1,500 easily. That all depends on the company you work with and what they expect in their level of complexity in design, or how many different, because you have to do research. You've got to do a little bit of strategy. You got to find out where they're going to use this logo at. You got to scale the sucker tall to big. What markets are going to use it in? Going to use it locally, digitally. Going to have it turn into CMYK or RGB. All those things apply to that particular higher end logo, as opposed to a person's going to use a logo on their Twitter header that they'll blow it up one time. So working with your client on the cost of that and determining what is a comfortable area for them. We can make a logo, for a few $100s, but I'm not going to do any edits. You're not doing any edits? No. Edits take time. Like everything else, you have to charge according to your time. And the one thing about artists in general is they don't value their own skills, your own skill sets. I know artists that are far and beyond more skilled than I am in many a field, but they don't believe in themselves. They don't believe in the work they do. And if you don't believe in the value you create, no one else will. You have to believe in your value first. Like you and your time is very, very limited. You want to spend all night Saturday night making a logo for $75? Or do you spend all night Saturday night for $750? I mean, it doesn't mean it could be how about just double it? How about $150? Because your Saturday night is now gone. You can never have that back. That time is gone. It's gone forever. You never have it back. That's the way I approach all of my my pricing. Because I can make an emote in 20, 30 minutes. $30, that's doable for me because I actually enjoy making emotes. I find great joy in them. If I'm doing something I really don't like, which is a few things. I mean, some things I just don't enjoy doing. Like I don't enjoy doing, a certain number of things, but I do them because this is my job. I'm paid to make those things. I won't say what they are. Like I'm not contacting him about such and such.
I was about to say.
Well, it's just because it's work.
That's fine. Yeah.
It doesn't have to be all sunshine and rainbows.
And nor should it be.
I think people get that confused a lot with turning your hobbies into careers. Is that everything's going to be fun, everything's going to be exciting, and it isn't. So I think you're hitting the nail on the head just with there are certain aspects of the job that you won't enjoy and certain aspects that you'll love to death.
Yeah. I mean, 90% of my, well, let me see. Yeah. Let's say 90% of the job I love to death. And the parts I hate most are like a few jobs that I'm just not interested in, but I can make happen. I can make them happen really well. And the other 5% is just paperwork, invoicing, and emails.
Taxes.
Taxes happens once a year.
Taxes is like a whole different episode, man.
It's a whole episode, and I am not a lawyer.
That. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
I will have you all.
We're going to avoid taxes
jail.
this episode. Sorry. Contact a CPA if you have questions.
Dude,
Joe's like having PTSD again. First it was
I thought Joe
electricity,
just said,
now it's taxes.
I thought Joe just said, "Dear Diary."
He should. He probably has a plethora of diaries written about taxes.
So yeah, that's the not fun stuff about, running a business, is the actual business part of it. But being business savvy is super important to building a future for yourself, because you got to imagine, like, if I'm charging you for work, right? I'm charging you for work. We set a goal, we set a goal date. You want such and such number of assets by this time. And I'm like, this is X amount of dollars. I'm not charging you for just the time that I'm doing it. I'm charging you for the time I'm doing it. The investment of skills I've put in over the past couple of years. I've put in probably 5 to 10 hours a day, 330 days a year for the past 2.5 years. So every year I take about 20 days off from educating myself. So every morning and day and night, even when I'm working out, I educate myself further on business, on animation, on learning 3D, on learning vector. I do that nonstop year round. That's why you see me like, how does this guy move from doing emotes to doing logos, to doing animations, to doing, animated rebrands? So I'm like, because I never stop learning. So that part is integral to growth. So that is all wrapped up in the price of me giving you this package. I'm like, oh yeah, it took me like 3 hours, so I'm going to charge $15 an hour, $20 an hour. I'm like, is that a sustainable business model? So you get sick. So you can't work for 2 days or 3 days. What do you do then? You just want to like mark it off and like, well, I'm out of this time. Well, you gotta build that stuff in your price and your value as a creator, and that's really difficult to do at first. And also building the discipline to execute on those things. But all in all, when you move from doing it as a hobby and then move into a full-time business, you have to think, well, I need $1,000 for my dwelling. I need, $300 for my car. I need $500 for utilities. Like, okay, that's about $2,200, and not counting if I want to not eat bread for the rest of the month. So ramen. So you factor in like, I need to make X amount of dollars per month. Like, oh, okay, so I need to charge this. Take that and then double it. That's how much money you need to be producing a month. What you need plus double. I'm like, why double? Because something might happen. There's no insurance policy when you're working by yourself. This is just you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's something that not a lot of people think about. What was that, Elaine?
It might not be bad things. It might be you actually want a freaking day or two off and you want to go travel somewhere,
Maybe you do. Yeah. Maybe you're not a crazy person like I am.
I know.
Nonstop, like a maniac.
I'll get you out of the house one day.
I just
really... You'll be at GuardianCon.
I'll be at GuardianCon working.
Me too. I'll bring the donuts.
The rest of us feel that.
No one should
bring my medic bag. We'll work.
No one should base their
pass out waters.
Well, no one should base their business model off what I do, because, well, maybe they should. It's worked, but I'm partially insane.
And everybody's different too.
Yeah,
that's it right there.
I have an obsession. I have an obsession with not losing, because my motto is, I didn't come this far to fail. I don't know about you.
Well, we got one shot.
If I can say so, I feel like this is kind of your martial arts background, though, because I know when I was doing martial arts, that was the big
discipline.
The concept of you haven't worked this hard to fail.
Yeah.
That was a big thing in the martial arts that I did when I was younger. And I think it's great to apply towards a business.
Mm-hmm. There's a little bit of like, because that's kind of the training that entailed when I was, doing martial arts, like slapping a sandbag 1,000 times, 10,000 times in a week, or 1,000 times a day, or, staying in a horse stance for 30 minutes with sore knees and, punching red clay for hours on end. And that stuff builds a new person out of you. So conquering isn't just a joke to me. It's a philosophy. It's a way of life.
You can see it through your brand too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When you promote conquering the day, conquering this, it is something that I feel like people can genuinely look at, your tweets or your announcements, whatever it may be, and they can, I don't know, relate to it, if that makes sense. Like,
yeah,
I know if you post conquering the day today, and I read that, I'm like, all right, I know who Con is, what he does. Conquering the day is taking a hold of it, charging your destiny kind of thing. So
yeah, that all spins out of just knowing that tomorrow's not promised.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
As I'm sketching fervently right here, tomorrow's not promised. I might be able to do this tomorrow.
Which is a great segue into how do you market yourself?
Ooh. This is going to be different for everybody. I guess this is an important to define what a brand is, because everyone here has a brand. Your brand is how the audience or the general public perceives who you are. And that can be fake, that can be real, that can be whatever. The faker it is, the harder it is to hold it up.
True.
The faker it is, the harder it is to hold it up. So your brand is the level of trust people put in you to do the thing that you do. And I take my words and my actions extraordinarily serious. So right now this is 2.5 years in. Yeah. 2.5 years in, I've probably done over 1,700 jobs. About 1,700 jobs in the past 2.5 years. And I've only had less than 20 unhappy clients. Less than 20 unhappy clients. Dang. Because I take each and every person that comes across my door as me. I don't like to be. When I say I'm going to do something, somebody tells me they're going to do something, I hope it to be done. So what you see from me and what I put out into as my brand, as people perceive me, how I market myself as somebody that's trustworthy, because I am trustworthy. That's why I said the keys to the bar, because I'm trustworthy. So marketing yourself based on how cool your designs look it's one thing, but it could fizzle out fast. It could fizzle out really fast. If you have 2 or 3 bad breaks with somebody that has a lot of clout or somebody has a little bit of clout, it's super important to always follow through on what you're going to do and what you do all the time. So being consistent, I mark myself being consistent, producing a ton of quality work and content. And that's pretty much it. Being consistent and trustworthy, because people, Tyler's known me, well, Tyler's camera's in the air. Joe's known me since I started my business, basically. If you guys look at my little book here, This has all my orders in it for every order I've ever like written down.
I love this.
On every page. So we're up to this page, and they're like, probably 15 pages left. So all these are all finished orders, right? This on the very first page is like Joe's like original logo design.
Yep.
Oh, look at that.
So Joe's known me since the very beginning. Before I wrote down any orders from invoices, he's been there since that very long. So when you hear my name, Joe, what do you think about in terms of work and working with me? Just seeing my name on social media. Don't just because I'm here, don't just pretend like I'm not here. What do you think about when you hear the name Con or Con Art?
One of the best experiences working with somebody. Honestly, I was talking to somebody earlier today, actually my best friend. And I was talking about the podcast tonight and who was coming on. He goes, he's not really in the gaming community. And he's like, well, who's Young Con? I go, he's done a lot of work for us for the nonprofit. And prior to the nonprofit, been working with him for years. One of the best experiences working with somebody you will ever have. If you ever want anything graphic design, anything like that, he is just one of the just nicest people to work with, and everything's very professional. And he's a perfectionist, but it's a great experience. And I'm not saying that because you're sitting right in front of me. This is almost verbatim what I told him earlier. And this is it's a great experience, and that's all you can ask for. I mean, working with Elaine's a great experience too. I mean, she's just so nice, and everything's just perfect. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better quality anything. I mean, I have the patches right here. I mean, I still have a few of them. And
now, there being said, it took me 2 years to build up that kind of trust and confidence with people, because I try to do the exact same thing for every single person I work with. No matter if they said in the end, I hated working with that guy, I try to do my best.
And how you said earlier how you always try to help promote other graphics designers and people in that business as well. At the very beginning, 2.5 years ago, the person that introduced me to Young Con was actually Jay Howard.
Hey.
Jay Howard introduced me. He goes, who you should talk to? You should talk to this guy.
Jay. I love Jay.
I was going back. That's when I was writing articles for Destiny Tracker.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, that's literally the business is just formed an LLC. And I was probably producing like, $100 a month and maybe an income. But I that all just stretches back to me working with my dad and doing construction. I don't treat like people say they get art block. I'm like, you don't get plumber's block or you don't get roofer's block. You put the roof on, you unclog the toilet. There's no block about it. You make the art and then you move on.
Yeah.
So that's I guess approaching and advertising myself, number one, isn't as that guy's an awesome illustrator, an awesome animator, an awesome branding person, an awesome emo creator. I build my business on trust. I build my persona on trust and growth. Now, if trust and growth, I'm not saying won't be parts of your brand. If they are not the main parts of your brand, do not be discouraged. Something that you do might be, it could be risque as the NFSW stuff. It could be, something fun. It could be, stuff. It could be embroidery. Those are all parts of your brand and the way you produce it. Like NerdandNeedle is funny. She's goofy on Twitter. She's goofy on Instagram. She looks fun. She's fun to be with. You get that through the pictures she posts on social media. That is part of her brand. She is
Ewok to your Yoda.
She is the Ewok to my Yoda.
The Ewok to your Yoda.
Well, you must. And at this point, I guess I don't know. and I'll also do. I'm speaking of the designers. I promote myself as a little bit. People have out there been making art longer than I have, and they've been running business longer than I have. But I've been super successful, and I always try to give as much advice as I would to myself for people that are doing art on my level. Even they will be direct competitors. People will say, if people are direct competitors and they're getting burned by somebody on work, I give them advice. If they're not if they're they're doing all this work and they're giving stuff away for free, I'm like, don't give it for free. Don't let me talk to you. Just jump in the DMs for a second. If they're charging like $5 an hour to do this massive digital painting, I'm like, I want to see you succeed more than I want to see myself succeed. Because at this point, my hourly is like, if you were like to hire me out for an hour, like it would be hundreds of dollars for me to coach somebody. But I get that coaching away for free every day. For the point is, no person island. I won't be here in 20 years. Hopefully they'll be here in 20 years, or they're somebody they've worked with will be here in 20 years. So I always try to give off the I put my brand out for trust and bring people to the level I'm at or above where I'm at. So I don't move from selfishness. I don't move from being greedy. I move from helping people grow. So advertising that is not really me putting on false airs. It's just me being myself as a former educator, but also as a business person. So I guess that's the best way for me personally.
And what's the phrase? A rising tide lifts all boats.
It does. A rising tide lifts all boats. It could also destroy them all too, but yes.
Shh, we go positive. We don't go negative.
What's the size of the tide?
all I'm saying is, if I looked at everything just as everything's going to be all right, I would not have grown.
It's true.
And this is from somebody that, I suffered a major health setback with a muscle disease. Like, I know that sometimes things will just not be okay.
And that's okay.
That's okay.
That's actually a perfect segue into how you plan on expanding and growing your business.
Ooh, this is a question for 2020.
2020 plans.
2020 plans. So I've gotten to the point where my workload is pushed out to be about 3 to 5 months on average. For the past 6 to 8 months, it's been about 3 to 5 months. That work is all paid for in advance, so I'm not sitting on a bunch of I don't have waiting lists. I don't believe in waiting lists because people are flaky. But you have their money, they'll come back.
Yeah, true.
They'll come back. And sticking to my policy of I don't really want to put it down. It's going to be 3 months. I'm like, that's okay. Find somebody else. That's cool. I got the money. I can give you a quarter of it. I'm like, I don't want a quarter. I'm not. You can. No, that's okay. Stick to your plans, people. If you got a policy, stick to your policy, no matter what. Trust me, you'll thank me in the morning. But moving into the future, I'm going to keep producing the content. I'm going to move into doing more educational stuff. I'm actually writing I started recording it today, but I'm recording a course, an emote design course. Let me put up on Teachable for people to learn to do what I do and do it well. So when I think about my business, I'm moving more into the education space while still producing design and graphics. But I'm also learning more and more 3D work as well, because I want to grow in that realm. So to grow your business, you have to do investment. Investment in yourself is the highest investment of all. Investing in yourself is something that some people don't think about it. They don't believe that, if I put in $20 here on a Udemy course, that's going to produce anything, or, such and such, if I buy this piece of software, it's not going to produce anything. So taking a part of your budget that you actually make and moving into the next year and actually expanding your business, always look back to invest in yourself and your skill set. Always invest in your skill set. The reason I'm preaching the emote course is is one of the main reasons I actually upped my income so much in the past year. I took a course from a fellow designer on Twitter, Dave's Designs. Big shout out to Dave's Designs. He's a mascot designer. And I moved to the mascot market. That $50 course has paid for itself. No, let me see. Let's do some quick maths here. This is going to be a rough estimate. Let's say that $50 course probably paid for itself over 200 times. So roughly 10 grand from a $50 investment.
Jesus.
I think you get your money's worth out of it.
And that's just a refund.
That's just a $50 course. That's not saying you took a $15,000 college
course. Yeah.
Yeah.
I always drop his name. I got his name tagged in my chat. Like, we want to learn to make mascots. Here you go. Take this course.
You need to
take this course.
Mascot.
I'm making you a mascot.
We can't afford you anymore, young Tom. That's why.
I love you guys. I love you guys, and that's going to be my plan for 2020. Is moving in education, moving like some stuff in education. I'm gonna probably, if this course goes well, I'm gonna do more coursework, and I'm gonna keep just helping the community grow. Because
it's amazing.
I mean,
that is amazing.
You got to leave a legacy behind. Like I'm saying, like I've been doing this for a decade or so, but in the short amount of time I've been doing this, like less than 3 years, I've passed through over 1,000 clients, so well over 1,500 clients in 3 years. So I've done a lot of work, and I've talked to a lot of designers. A lot of designers hang out in chat, young designers, and I'm just like, guys, they do these amazing headers and pieces, and they're like, oh, this is $10. How long did it take you? About 3 days.
Oh.
I'm like,
yikers.
But there, if you go, you could take a handful of nickels and throw them out there. You can hit 28 designers. All right, that can happen.
Make it hate.
But distinguishing yourself as a designer is super important. And what puts me aside from other designers on Twitter and Instagram, stuff like that, is I put stuff out every single day. Like, how you do every day? Because it's my job. There's no not feel like designing. Like, you don't feel like not going to work. You just go to work. Now, luckily, I enjoy my work and I enjoy doing it a lot. Like, I'm obsessed with my job as I'm doing it right now. I'm obsessed with my job, but you have to produce. And I saw a fellow designer. They had been doing design work way before I got started, and they were a little bit upset that they got left behind, and they hadn't learned as much, and they stopped doing as much content as they wanted. They feel like they're stagnating. I'm like, today's the day. You just, if you really want to do this, start now. What do you love doing? Did you love doing it then? Do you love doing it now? Act now, not tomorrow. Right now, cue up some stuff. Like, sketch out something right now. And literally a day later, they dropped this hot design. I'm like, this is all it takes, is the will to execute. But you have to execute consistently. You can't be like, today I'm hot, tomorrow I'm cold. I'm cold, I make stuff. I'm hot, I make stuff. Your feelings are irrelevant, especially being a creative. And people are like, well, if I don't feel good, I can't make stuff. That is complete BS. That is complete BS, because I don't feel good a lot of the times. I don't feel like working out all the time. I don't feel like eating healthy all the time. That's for sure, but I do it.
Mm-hmm.
So forcing yourself to get in there and actually make things happen on a consistent basis is super important to growth, and putting yourself out there and putting it in front of people. So people see you making stuff, like, yeah, I can work with this guy. He's always making stuff. Is it more than one person? Is it only one guy? Like there's a team of guys out there that fellow designers. I love their stuff. I won't drop the name here. They do rebrand stuff, and it's like 4 or 5 guys or 3 or 4 guys, and they turn on stuff like once every 3 or 4 days. And I'm like, and it's beautiful stuff. Like it's amazing, impeccable. And I'm like, I'm one person. I think I'm putting out more stuff than they are, and that feels good.
Yeah, it does.
So challenge yourself. Challenge yourself and do what others won't. Because once you do what others won't, you'll put you out in front of everybody else. Hopefully, you can get out in front of me.
Yeah, that's powerful advice, man.
It is.
I think what you said just now, that applies to more than just art, which is awesome.
So,
hopefully a lot of people listening will pick up on that.
How do you feel about GCX?
Well, that's another thing right there.
And how do you prepare for a convention like that?
Well, since last year was my first convention and I had no idea what I was doing whatsoever. Wow.
Right.
Let me tell you. At first I started to make small little things to set up the booth and small little investments. So I was probably put in like, $500, and I was like making stuff. I'm like, my brand is about quality and trust. So let me make some higher quality items. Let me push the boundary on the stuff I'm making. So the t-shirts I was making, I was like, let me get the highest, like softest quality stuff. And I'm going to have my actual logo and their individual tags, like sewn onto each shirt. Then I had like, engraved pieces of keychains and bottle openers. And only thing I slacked on that could have been better was my prints. So it's the quality of what you bring to the table is super important. Because there was people there that had really great art, but the quality of the product they were selling on was really flimsy.
Way to call me out, rude.
NerdandNeedle.
It's ruthless.
So, and that's not a skill. That's not a skill thing. That's not something you. It's one, you got to have the capital to produce the stuff. One, and then you're taking another leap of faith. A leap of faith of, I'm putting in, a couple grand on things that I might not sell for an event I've never been to. Well, I've been to, but I've never sold anything.
And that's not including travel and the hotel stay and
then shipping that stuff down through FedEx, which is another, $300.
Yeah.
And they get in there, you're like, did I just waste $2,500 or $3,000? Is that what's happening?
It's a thing. Yeah.
You're describing my anxieties right now.
You're on the plane having a panic attack, like, this is how it all goes down. This is how my business folds.
I'm trying to figure out how much I can carry on.
I drove 12 hours.
I didn't carry on anything.
I'm like, how much can I get away with in my backpack?
But luckily, I got ahead of it, and I kind of did some promo stuff beforehand, and we did like we raised $3,000 for St. Jude between me and Cobb when we did a collab piece.
Yeah,
and that's
a gorgeous piece.
It is. I actually got the one frame for the office finally because it's one of my proudest pieces of work. I got to work with the person.
Ruby picked me up one, and I think she still has to mail it out to me to make it on my wall.
It holds a special place in my heart because it's with one of my art mentors that I was like, it got me into doing Destiny. I'm like, I got to work Cobb one, I got to work with Cobb.
I like that you geek out about certain people.
Like people would talk to me like at the G6 event, like, God, you're talking to us. I'm like, yes, I'm going to talk to you because no one talks to me at home. I mean,
The dog does.
Yeah, so I'm happy to see. I don't know, people like have this false impersonation of me. I'm like, yeah.
Nobody talks to me at all.
I'm going to talk to you. We're going to have a good time. I'm happy anybody's happy to see me anytime during the day or anytime during the month. They're like, hey, no one. And it's shocking to me because Joe Blow Schmo was just going to DCX or Guardian Con a couple of years ago. I'm just there walking around. I was on a podcast a little bit. No one knew my face.
Right.
Just here.
You went to TwitchCon and people were coming up to you too. It was the same
people
situation.
That were lurking. They're like, I'm a lurk in your chat. I love your stuff. I'm like, how do you even find me? I don't.
How did you know me?
When I saw DMG at the GCX and he saw me and he saw me, his eyes got big. I was like, this is not good. This is not good. And he says my name. I'm like, what is? He's like, I love your stuff. I'm like, you kind of black out for a second. Like, what? You're gonna catch yourself like, oh my god, what? Huh? Where's my at? Bring out the smelling salts.
Speaking of DMG, I scared him at Guardian Con because I saw him and I wanted to give him that bread patch, and I was like, Dylan, and he was so scared. And I ran up to him, I handed it to him. He goes, "Oh, that's you." I was like, "Yeah, here you go. Thanks, bye."
Very surreal stuff.
Right? It's crazy.
Very surreal. So yeah, I'm really happy. I'm happy that to have this place in this community and overall, like, there's one thing to just be making art and to make designs. Like, no, anybody can do that, but to be a part of like this larger system of like, creatives and people that enjoy like this game is still like jaw dropping. Like when I got invited on to do the DCP podcast, I was like, what? So what? And then they brought me on to do like the design work for Guardian Cons for their late night show, the Rare Drop Awards. I did the top down design for that. I was like, it was like somebody touched me for it. I was like, you want me to do what? I'm typing this. Your heart's like, your eyes are like, yeah, I can make that happen. Being cool on the keyboard, but having a meltdown, like just sweating as you wait for a reply back. You're like,
it's that GIF with breathing in a paper bag. Yeah, I can basically. What are you thinking you want to see?
Like, just be cool. And being cool pays off. Being cool pays off.
Gosh, that's cool.
You are cool.
Dear diary.
So are you prepping like around now? Because I started prepping like 2 months ago.
I prepped when I left Guardian Con.
Yes, thank you.
Some people actually, a good amount of people prep right after the convention last year started working on stuff right now. I think iResolute's working on some canvas pieces to bring down for this next year.
Yeah, I produce not only my art for other people, I produce my own art on a weekly basis. Some of it's tuned towards Guardian Con, and it unintentionally, but yeah. It's already in the works.
There's stuff that nobody's seen yet.
They probably like seeing stuff, but they're going to forget about it because people here with media so much during the day. They're like, what? And they'll look back and like, they won't even know I made it until, it's in front of them again. That's the thing about like social media and the overload. Even when somebody follows you, like, I know you made that. I'm like, I made it 4 months ago. So selling it 4 months ago. I'll have some stuff that people aren't expecting.
Dude, as much as and you nailed it right there with social media, I mean, as much as I try to keep up with everybody and cycle, scroll through and make sure I see everyone's tweets, what they tweet out and this and that, there's always times you're going to miss something. You're gonna hit that. It's gonna be too much of a temptation for that one top button to come down. It's like scroll to the top. It's like, yep. And you go all the way to the top and I miss 50, 60, somebody's tweets. And some of those things might actually be something like that, where it's like, I didn't know you did that. Like, you were talking earlier with the postmaster art piece with Dylan.
Yeah.
I had no idea. It's been a busy day today, so
it just happened to catch me at the right time with my coffee. I was just sitting here, and I was like,
oh my God, the faces.
Reenactment.
Don't mind if I do, Dylan.
Feel like I'm on Unsolved Mysteries.
Just call me Robert Stacked, yo. I love that show. That show is on Amazon, by the way. The old episodes. Yes, I have.
We're not sponsored by Amazon. It's fine.
Not yet.
Yeah, we are. We're on Twitch.
We are. We're on Twitch. Oh my God, he's right.
Sponsored, unsponsored.
Fair enough.
Oh,
they're silent partners.
it's full circle.
Yeah. You got I forgot what I was saying. I lost track of that unsolved mysteries thing.
Prepping.
Yeah, I prep all the time. I produce all the time. Just produce. I produce so fervently because I feel like I've missed out on a decade of growth. And I feel like I just missed out on the stuff I could have done. Even though I'm making stuff beyond my imagination now, I want to make stuff that rivals what I made, a year ago. And having art goals like Clinton Felker and Ian Pesty and Gamma Trap, and they're like, dude, you motivated me. I'm like, what? Huh? You take that in, like, you be kind of this kind of feeding fire of artists to kind of like, and I'm like looking at Tyler stuff. I'm like, I saw that painting of the fire. I was like, in the forest, like, is this a picture? This is a paint. Like zoom in. I'm like, this is a painting. Yeah, you kind of melt a little bit. Like, I can do that. I can do that tomorrow. I can get better at this.
Thanks, man.
It's amazing. It's just the work from just looking at the original Gunslinger piece with the cowboy hat on to like now I'm just like,
oh yeah.
This is the end.
Like you said, you're not growing, you're not living.
Get busy growing, get busy dying. So that's all I do. I prep just by being myself. All the prep is just organic. The prep is organic. I got ideas for stuff, and I make the stuff. That's it. You ever have an idea for something? That would be an awesome idea, right? And then you just not make it. You guys ever experienced that? Anybody here?
I was about to say, man, you can't put people on blast like that.
So this is what I do. I'm like, that's a cool idea. I should make that. 10 seconds later, make that. I'm just drawing fervently like, I want to do a pinup. I'm going to do a pinup of Sloan. That's hot.
You got to bring a notepad to work then.
Yeah. I've driven in my car and I'm like, Siri.
Okay, we can't recommend.
Make a note. Randall the Vandal boxing poster. Destiny 1, anybody? Randall the Vandal? He's you jack your face. That's how all that stuff happens. I do not sit up like I have an idea like Ghostbusters, Moon's Haunted, make the picture, and I make the picture. It might work, it might not work. I've made pieces like it'll get like 4 likes. I'm like, no, at least I tried. Or I'll make a picture like it gets 1,000 likes. I'm like, at least I tried.
Yeah, like the postmaster right now is hovering around, I think 850, 900. Yeah, you tried.
Right.
While you were drinking your coffee this morning. Yeah.
And that's just for showing up to work. You have to show up. Being successful means showing up. I probably have more time than the average person, but I don't have more time than the average person. I probably work harder than the average person as an artist, but I also have more time because I work from home. So the amount of work I have in front of me, it has to be done by a certain date, and I always get that stuff done by a certain date. But in that meantime, in between time, I want to grow. So, and make stuff. So like the design where I made the little Kill by the Architects design. I'm not sure if I can see that. I made like little stickers out of them. I made these because Sticker Mule had a sale for $19. You get 50 stickers. I'm like, here, take this, $20. Give me the stickers. I'm like, oh yeah, let's make that happen because you got to strike on the iron hot, and I got 50 stickers. I could turn that into. Let me see. I'm charging what $5 and $3 a sticker. 3 times 50, $150. I just made $130 profit off of just taking advantage of a sale. And I don't think about the profit while I'm making the stuff. I'm just making stuff because I think it was cool.
Mm-hmm.
I don't make stuff just to make money. I just make stuff just to make stuff. And some
Elaine
people
does that all the time too. She'll make stuff like concepts and everything. She's like, "Look at this badge."
You have to.
She makes it because she thinks it looks cool.
You have to.
I have a few. Just I haven't put them out yet because it's Christmas. But yeah, we're getting there.
I'll be honest. I like when you do mistakes on your patches and they turn out cooler than like the original patches. Like where you swap a color or something. Like the Queen's Wrath emblem that you did, where it was black instead of purple. That was awesome.
Yeah, that one turned out okay. The Crimson Rabbit one was, so what happened is I had tied a new thread to an old thread, and usually you pull it through. I forgot to pull it through. And usually your machine tells you it did not.
All the fail safes are broken.
I know. I was like, oh no, I actually have to pay attention.
You want me to pay attention?
I didn't sign up for this.
Rude.
Skynet.
This self-employed stuff sounds bunk.
But I appreciate that.
You want me to work? And that's the beauty of working for yourself. You're not driven by anybody's clock, even though you're hired out by clients. You give them a date, like it's going to be done by this date, and you follow through on that date. But just working for yourself, you're like, how much can I get done today? I got 10 hours to kill. Then you make it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
I think one of my favorite phrases that I've heard is, you're going to have the good times, you're going to have the bad times, but you always want to honor the struggle. Because you're not always going to ride the highs and have the good times, because the struggle is what gets you to the high times.
I struggle a lot.
I feel that.
I just struggle so much it looks effortless now. I think
you honor it well.
I think it equates to like just the training days of me just like if anybody's watched anime ever, any kind of like fighting anime, the character they do this training session where they put on 4,000 pounds of weights to defeat their enemy, Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, such and such.
That popped in my head. Hero Academia.
Yeah, actually, that's how I trained martial arts. I actually wore 100 pounds of weights, like 60-pound vest, 20-pound leg weights, 10-pound arm weights, carrying logs. I struggle all the time. It just looks effortless because I struggle hard, very hard. I build up those muscles of struggle, like not just physical muscles, just mental muscles of struggle.
Mental muscles.
Your mental, like the mind game, is the most important one.
Yeah.
Because if you look at your artwork, it's like something you have to do, and like, oh, this work is daunting. I don't want to do it. And like,
then you don't want to do it.
Would you rather, work at customer service at a job you don't like
for $7.50 an hour?
Yeah. Would you rather put on roofs in the sun? I've done that. I've been out on the roof, with my dad in 100-degree weather, getting 4 shades darker. Those are your options. I get to make art every day. I don't look at like, I got to make art. I get to make things. I get to make digital things. I get to create something new. I get to be a magician every day and make something new. And that's a blessing. I do it a lot and I struggle with it. but I could be doing 1,000 other things for less money with less appreciation, with no audience, like folding clothes with Baby Gap. I did that for a bit. I was a Baby Gap clothes folder.
Yeah, Target did that. Yeah.
Look at you two reminiscing.
So everything in perspective.
Yep.
That's why people like put out stuff about their clients on Twitter, like, man, my clients just be flip floppy about their job, and such and such contacted me about making emotes, and I don't really, they're putting their laundry on blast about making art. And I'm like, did you make art for a living? What I don't understand. Have you ever like taken, has a drunk ever thrown up on you because you've been bouncing at a bar? No, just me.
Just me.
Because that's an option for you if you want to do that. I mean, if you look at things in perspective, some people just lack the life experiences just to put things in proper focus. Because once you've done this thing, you say you get this gift and you're a talented artist and you're making a little bit of money, then you get complacent and then your quality goes down. You start jacking your prices up, and then no one else will hire you, and now you're unemployed. That's a hole a lot of people fall down because they get too comfortable with their work and just relying on people being there and just people buying stuff from them. I never get comfortable. Never, ever, 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 ever get comfortable because you don't grow.
I like that. And I think that's a perfect spot for us to actually wrap up tonight. Before we take off, does anybody have any closing advice they would like to share with people?
Closing advice.
To tell you the truth, I think Con just actually shared like 5 or 6 different advices right here.
Yeah.
I guess here's a summation.
Okay.
I like summations.
Yeah. Make stuff. Be grateful. Help people. Be happy.
Boom.
You need one more. You only did 4. You got 5 fingers.
Be consistent.
There you go.
It's a good one. And that's why he's Yoda.
I'm actually drawing Yoda right now,
Yoda.
actually.
Heck yes, you are.
I'm drawing Yoda right now.
Yeah, you
buffest
are.
Yoda I've ever seen.
Oh, I forgot to tell you about the Patreon stuff, guys. I forgot you guys are artists. You guys should definitely open up a Patreon.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, here's a good question, really quick.
We opened a Patreon for the nonprofit. Love Patreon.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
I should have mentioned that. Sorry. What's the question, Tyler? I'm sorry.
I was going to say, at what point in your artistry do you think a Patreon's a good thing to do?
At the beginning.
Because you think so right away?
But why not? What do you have to lose?
True.
Fair enough. So it sits there for a little bit and, it doesn't really get a lot of attention. Eventually it's going to grow.
That is actually a very fair
find it.
argument.
Yeah, I got 100 patrons. I got 94 patrons now, 93 patrons.
I think that's so
Congratulations.
awesome.
Asked
That
about
is a
goals
congratulations. It's huge.
That was a goal of yours, was to get
The
above
goal
80.
was 75.
Or 75, yeah.
And that was 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. Now we're at 90 something plus.
That's
So what's your new
amazing.
goal?
I didn't set a goal for 100 yet, but we're almost there. I don't know what to do for 100. I'm making pins for 75. I don't know what to do for 100.
125.
I got to get me a pin. I gotta get a pin. I got a frame right here. I'm working on putting all the pins from like all the packs and everything. And
Why are you the coolest guy I know?
I'm not that. I'm not that
I
cool, man.
swear, you have all the coolest stuff.
I got cool stuff, but I'm not the coolest. There are 3
don't
other
doubt-
Pretty
individuals
close.
right
Don't
here
doubt
that
your
are
greatness,
cooler than
Joe.
He's at like a 9 out of 10 for sure.
me. No, but
He's all right.
Yeah, artists make a Ko-fi, make a coffee or Ko-fi, make a Patreon.
Wait, make a
stream your work.
coffee.
Yeah, Ko-fi that you can actually support people through bottom of coffee for $1.99.
Mm-hmm.
I always forget about that.
Yeah, your
Write that
Ko-fi,
down,
Ko-fi.
Joe.
Like if you like this art,
Yeah.
buy me a coffee. Least you can do, buy me a coffee.
What
Yeah.
if you
Buy
don't
me a
like
coffee, right?
coffee?
But I like coffee.
But what if you don't buy coffee?
Buy me a coffee.
No, you didn't say buy you a coffee.
Guardian Con will buy you a coffee.
You better. Actually, probably get it for free.
Chocolate.
It's one of my sponsors. They probably give you the coffee for free. So
I have not bought a King's Coast coffee or King's Coast anything, and I won't. And I've said this before. I won't until I see a Young Con one. Nothing's
like a specific flavor.
Yep,
nothing's impossible.
You know what? I've said this, and I think this was not even on the Guardians podcast. This was on somebody else's podcast. And I said, I will not drink it. I will not buy it until I see a Young Con one.
Well, now we got to ask, what would your flavor be? Medium roast.
Even the Conqueror dark blend.
Dark blend.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You saw that coming.
Dark and smooth. So smooth.
You saw that coming. Don't act like you didn't see that. It was right there.
I did it. I was going with a medium roast.
So smooth.
Oh, medium roast.
Medium.
Blasphemy.
Why don't you just stab me in the heart, Tyler?
Why don't you just bring me decaf, bro? Jeez.
Yeah.
All right.
Gosh,
all right.
Judas.
Wow, Elaine. Thank you.
And two fruit taste?
She throws the dagger in the heart. Same girl talking about lube earlier.
I know, right? There's so many kinds of lube.
In case you don't know what she's talking about.
For my embroidery machine.
This is before we went the podcast out right here.
Yeah.
Was talking about
the podcast ended a couple minutes ago. It's over. This is bonus.
Okay.
When we first got on before we went live, Elaine started talking about 3 different kinds of lubes she uses on her commercial machines there, and boy, did that go off the rails quick.
Yeah, be very specific, say machine.
I said commercial machine too.
I mean, it'd still be taken different.
She's a beauty and a beast, so got to handle her differently.
That's what I call her, beauty and beast.
Well, I think we went off the rails pretty far, but before we take off,
have a good time doing it though. That's
always a blast, and I mean that with right from the heart. I mean, it's always a blast. Before we take off, where can people find you and more of your art, and if your business links?
You can find me on Twitter at twitter.com/young _con KHAN_. You can find me on Twitch, Young Con, 7 days a week, pretty much making stuff from 4 p.m. till about midnight. And you can find me on Instagram at Young Con. There's lifting videos, there's art, there's doggos, and my website, most importantly, conartist.org, because I love puns. I think that's it.
Awesome. And Elaine, where can people find more of your delightful interactions and your business links?
Well, thanks.
Your machine lube.
I am nerd and needle everywhere. So if you search it, if you just go to Google's and you go nerd needle, bada bing, bada boom, you're going to find me. And I think about 2 pictures down are really, really bad pictures that my brother took of me. You're welcome.
You said that last time, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I just want to remind you. It's still there.
It's still only 2 down.
It's still there. Someone still used it for a convention, and I thought I was going to die.
I love it.
Oh, dear.
All right, Tyler, where can people find you?
Twitter, Instagram, ArtStation, TCillustrates. Across the board.
Boom. And wherever you find an average Joe, you're going to find me eventually after 227 of them on all social media.
That branding, though.
You gotta work hard for this.
Not so average Joe.
Yeah.
Can we rename you, please? Drives me nuts.
Eventually, we'll get there.
All right.
When I accept that I'm slightly
take
above
Con's
it.
advice. You got a lot of it tonight.
Because you're more than average. You're way
A
above
lot.
average.
And you know what? I've tried to clip quite a bit of it, but I can't figure out technology. So I haven't been able to clip it. But the good thing is we're making this into a podcast, so I'll be able to listen to it again.
The magic.
It's like we planned that.
Wow.
You're right. But it has been an absolute joy. I can't thank you both enough for coming on with us, hanging with us, and talking to us about turning your hobby into a business. I mean, there was so much great stuff that both of you talked about tonight. I know, Elaine, I'm giving you credit too. You're co-hosting with us, but you talked about some great stuff too. And I mean, a lot of people can take away a lot of just positive things from this. And that's one of the main things when Tyler, Ruby, and I started Pixels After Dark was to bring positive things and tips to people and make it a learning experience and like catalog it and make it interactive like that. And you guys definitely are helping with that. And we can't thank you enough. And Elaine, we're just going to have to make you like a regular host.
I know. Can you just set aside your Monday nights? It's fine.
We're going to alternate. So it'll be
Yeah.
like, I'll sit out one week and then you'll fill in for me. And then I'll come back and we'll do the bi-weekly thing. No.
Y'all are too sweet. Thanks.
Yeah. And sorry, Lumpy Shinobi. You made it, but we're right at the end. But I'll give you a shout out. Thanks for joining us, man. Thank you so much. And thank you, everybody. We're Pixels After Dark, and we'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.
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 This is the end.